If a chargeback is how you find out fraud happened, your detection isn't running in real time, it's running in reverse. Here's how to build a real-time fraud detection stack that catches it before the transaction clears. Why is your fraud stack missing the window even when the signals were there all along? You already know your stack has blind spots, but pinpointing where you're losing time is rarely solved by adding another tool or tightening a rule. It usually comes down to two things: the architecture moving events through your pipeline and the quality of signals feeding into it. Get either wrong and it doesn't matter how good your model is. So let's start with the architecture. Batch versus streaming. A credential stuffing attack goes from first request to compromised account in under 10 minutes. With batch processing, your scoring job hasn't even run yet. Streaming flips that. Events hit the pipeline live, decisions fire in milliseconds. That means you're in the window instead of reviewing what happened after it closed. Sift, Xeon, Filter, Count, and Stripe Radar all run streaming pipelines. Kafka for event ingestion, Blink for real-time processing, and Redis for sub-millisecond lookups. But knowing the infrastructure isn't enough. You need to make sure every signal is flowing into that pipeline in real time and not being batched somewhere upstream. Because if even one signal is delayed, you're back to reviewing what happened instead of stopping it while it's still happening. But what signals are actually feeding your pipeline? Because speed means nothing if you're scoring the wrong ones. You're probably already capturing transaction data and device fingerprints, but that's not where you're losing the window. The gap is almost always at the network level, more exactly IP intelligence. And IP intelligence is more than just checking an IP against a block list. It covers full things: ASN classification, identifying whether an IP is coming from a residential device, a data center range, a hosting provider, or a known VPN or Tor exit node. A data center IP hitting your login endpoint at high velocity is not a human. A residential IP doing the same at lower velocity is harder to call, and that's exactly why sophisticated credential stuffing operations run through residential proxies. Geolocation consistency, checking whether the claimed location matches the actual network geography. A session claiming Chicago but routing through an IP geolocated in Eastern Europe is a signal, not a coincidence. IP reputation telling you whether that address has shown up in fraud events across other platforms. Consortium data means one company's detection becomes every company's early warning. And velocity at the IP level, tracking how many requests has this address made in the last 60 seconds across how many accounts. One signal can be spoofed, but a full profile across ASN, geolocation, reputation, and velocity is a lot harder to fake. Here's what that looks like during an actual credential stuffing attack. From the attacker's side, a bot network tests credential combinations against your login endpoint. Each bot runs from a different residential IP to blend with legitimate traffic. To a system watching only user-level signals, this looks like a busy day with a higher login failure rate. Here's what a well-built pipeline catches. First, IP enrichment flags an unusual concentration of residential IPs across multiple ISPs hitting the same endpoint in a short window. Not one bad IP, a pattern across hundreds. Then velocity checks get triggered. The same credential combinations tested across multiple accounts within seconds. Then behavioral scoring confirms it. No natural browsing pattern, just straight to the login state. By the time all three signals fire, the risk score is already assembled. Block, challenge, or pass before the login completes, under 400 milliseconds. But catching the attack is only half the job. Every false positive as a customer you just push to a competitor, and that loss never shows up on the fraud report. Some estimates put the revenue impact of false positives at 2 to 3 times the direct fraud loss they prevent. Explainability is what gets you out of that trade-off. You need to see exactly why something was flagged. Is the IP unknown VPN exit? Is the device fingerprint changing mid-session? Or is the transaction velocity at 12 times the user's baseline? That context is what lets you tune thresholds confidently instead of guessing. A black box score of 87 tells you what to do. The signal breakdown tells you why, and that's what lets you improve over time. But even with a well-tuned fraud detection stack in place, there's one fraud type that doesn't trigger any of these signals, and AI is making this one harder to detect than ever: synthetic identity fraud. Unlike credential stuffing, it never uses stolen credentials. Instead, it builds entirely new identities, combining a real social security number, usually from someone with a thin credit history, with fabricated name and contact data. Deepfake-based KYC bypass is making this easier to execute at scale. Synthetic identities that look real enough to pass automated verification without triggering a single signal we just covered. These identities establish credit history slowly, sometimes over months, before cashing out. It's the fastest growing fraud category in the US right now. The detection layer that catches this is graph-based. Neo4j and similar graph databases map relationships between identity elements across accounts. A phone number appearing across 40 different new customers, an address shared between accounts open 3 days apart. These connections are invisible to row-level scoring, but obvious the moment you traverse the graph. Real-time detection here means streaming those relationship signals into the graph as new accounts are created, not catching it in a monthly batch review. But the real-time architecture requirement doesn't stop at detection. In the EU, PSD2 and 3DS2 require real-time risk scoring as part of the authentication flow. In the US, GLBA and CCPA govern how fraud signals are stored and used. The stack you build has legal implications either way, and the best way to know if that stack actually holds up is to test it against real attacker traffic. At IPRoyal, our responsibly sourced residential proxies give you precise geo-targeting and ISP filtering so you can simulate exactly the kind of traffic attackers use. Test the IPs you get against an external reputation database, set up IP skipping for the ones you don't want, and find the gaps in your detection before attackers do. Talk to our team at IPRoyal and we'll help you build the right proxy testing setup for your modern fraud detection stack.